We can start, Mati. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I'm Belém. I'm part of the Culture and Communications team, and I'm really excited to welcome you all to another Beyond webinar. Today's session is Chat with Your Docs, AI-powered queries using LangChain, ChatD, NotebookLM, and it's all about the revolution of how we interact with our documents using AI. But first, let me introduce you the mastermind behind today's content, Mati. Mati is a Ruby on Rails engineer from Chile with a degree in computer science. He's currently working at Simple Practice, and he's passionate about AI, especially how natural language processing can now be used for web scraping. I will be moderating today's session alongside Mati, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. And we will dedicate time after finish the content of the webinar to address your questions. So yes, let's get started. Mati, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Belu. Thanks. Well, thank you everyone for joining. This is my first webinar. So excited to stay with you here to present this amazing thing, which is querying, asking questions to your documents, to your PDFs. It's pretty cool. Well, one of the things that I really enjoyed about AI is to how web scraping is will be evolving in the next months, years. I remember when I was doing web scraping in previous years, it was really difficult because web pages evolve and changes every week. But with AI, will be very different and using, I will say, natural language to gather information from different unstructured sources in the web. Well, what we are going to talk in this session, first we are going to take a quick tour on the latest AI news. We are going to explain two terms in AI, which is LLM and RAG. And the other thing that we are going to take a look is we are going to use three different approaches, three different ones to gather information from PDFs asking questions. The first is we are going to use LangChain using OpenAI, using the Python language. And the second thing is we are going to query documents using a local LLM using ChatD, which is made in what's written, sorry, in Electron. And the last one, we are going to use a Google experiment called a NotebookLM that uses Google Gemini behind the scenes to query documents. Well, let's begin with the first thing, which is the AI latest news. And I wanted to talk about DeepSeek first in here because DeepSeek, as you know, it's a new model released by China, and three things about this big launch is they claim that when building up this model, they use significantly less memory and less GPU usage compared to other LLMs like Anthropic or OpenAI. And one thing, a really interesting thing about is they only have all the NVIDIA chips available to build up their models. So what they do is to if you want to make software for the NVIDIA chip, NVIDIA gives you the CUDA CUDA framework to work. But in case of DeepSeek, they decided to bypass CUDA and to program in bare metal, like programming in assembly code. It's amazing. That's why they made this optimization so cool. And the last one is they when you want to train a model, you need to there is a phase that it's called a supervised learning, and in supervised learning, in order to improve the AI answers, you can explicitly tell to the AI, hey, this answer is wrong, this answer is right. And in a process called reinforcement learning, the AI learns itself and improves. So in this case, DeepSeek, in DeepSeek, they decided to automate this part. So it's it was like another AI that it was telling DeepSeek, hey, this question, sorry, this response is wrong, this response is right. So the DeepSeek learn itself and improve. Well, the other news is Baidu launched two new versions of its AI model, Ernie. They claim that in order to build up this model, they um, they only require the last, sorry, half of the price of the DeepSeek's development. And the model, and this is an interesting thing, the model can understand memes and satire. Well, in another AI news, the Arizona Supreme Court decided to use AI avatars to communicate something to the public. So uh, traditionally, a court uses a spoken person to communicate announcements. Okay, so that requires to write down the announcement and to set like a press conference in order to communicate to the public. So the Arizona Supreme Court just they write down a statement and let the AI to do the rest. And it's in video. They used a YouTube channel to do that, and they claim that it was a success. Well, an Italian newspaper they decided to use to publish an edition entirely by AI. The first thing that came to my mind was, yeah, but what about the journalists in this case? Well, journalists were not replaced. The journalists that they are doing is to select these parts that the AI is generating, and they are building up the the newspaper. So they ask questions to the AI, and the AI responses they take it and put it in the Italian newspaper. Well, after this AI news, I'm going to explain you two terms. What is an LLM and what is a RAG? Well, what is an LLM? In simple terms, really simple terms, it's a huge neural network that predicts the next word in an answer. That's it. A huge neural network that predicts the next word in an answer. So it uses tons and tons of data from Wikipedia, YouTube videos, books available on internet, etc., to get refined. And those LLMs, they predict the next word of an answer in parallel. Well, uh, previous, previously to 2017, yeah, the prediction was made in linear, so one word at a time. But people in Google in 2018, I think, they released a paper called "Attention is All You Need." And attention is all you need. What it is? They discovered a way to predict the next word in an answer, but in parallel. So each word could take attention to the previous word and to the next word. And that's why our LLMs running in OpenAI, like OpenAI, for example, or running in local, are too fast, because the prediction, the next word prediction is made in parallel. So one of the three commercial uses could be customer service, you have content creation, and you have software development, like Microsoft Copilot. Well, what's a RAG? This is the thing that we are going to talk in this session. It's a way to use external data or information to improve accuracy in a LLM. Let's say, for example, in the solar system, no, not in the solar system, but within within a period of 6 months, new exoplanets gets discovered. Okay, so if I ask to OpenAI, for example, okay, what is the latest exoplanet discovered? And the information could be inaccurate. So what we need to do in this case is to ask to sources of information sources and put those into the LLM so we can improve accuracy in the information gathered. Okay, so a RAG is composed by 3 steps. The first step is the indexing. So we need to find a way to gather this huge book, thousands of pages, and to store them in small chunks in order to be used by a vector database. Okay, a vector database will do a vector search in the document, looking for similar chunks of data or pieces of the document. And the last one is the generation. So after doing this search and having these chunks of the document chunks available, we can pass it to the LLM so the LLM can generate the answer. Okay, so in summary, a RAG will lead to more accurate answers. Okay, so first thing, hands-on, we are going to query PDFs using LangChain and OpenAI. Okay, what are the requirements in this case? So we need a Python 3.9 installed in your computer and a PIP installed to install packages. In this case, we will need to use credits in OpenAI to use the OpenAI API. And we can start with $5, which is the minimum amount. Well, we will be using RAG for querying 2 different books. The first book is The Clean Code by Robert C. Martin, a must read for every developer. And we are going to ask to the book if comments are good or bad in code. That's it, very simple. And the second book is my course manual, the Cherry Tigo 7 Pro. And we are going to ask to the manual, what's the purpose of the auto hold system, okay? So first things, in this case, we need to load the document, okay? We are going to use PyPDF loader from the package LangChain community. There is a PIP install there. So we need to install PyPDF and LangChain community first, and we can load the document there. What is LangChain? LangChain is an open source framework that simplifies the development of applications that are related to LLMs. For example, if you want to dig deep into prompt engineering, for example, LangChain could be very helpful for that. Okay, now we need to set the LLM that we are going to use as the OpenAI chat. I use the Python.m to load the private key in the code, so I don't have to explicitly copy and paste the key in the code. And we are going to use the GPT 4.0 model for the purpose of this webinar. This is the most important part of the code, the indexing and vector search, okay? So we need to use a vector store or a vector database, and we are going to use Chroma in this case. I'm going to use my cursor here. So we imported Chroma from LangChain. Also, we imported OpenAI embeddings from LangChain. What is a OpenAI embedding or a embedding in general? An embedding is we have the document. The document it gets divided in chunks. Those chunks are treated as vectors in the vector store, and the computer needs to know how two different chunks are similar, how similar they are, and it needs to do some calculations. So the embeddings are all those calculations. Imagine you like a three-dimensional space with a lot of vectors, and each vector is a chunk of data, a piece of the document. So the embeddings are the calculations between the two vectors. So in that way, it can those chunks can be retrieved based on how similar they are. Okay, so in the fourth line we have the character splitter. We are going to divide this book in 1,000 words each chunk, and we are going to add a chunk overlap. So the idea of the overlaps is to not to miss important information that will be lost if we just divide the document in chunks. And well, we have a Chroma there, which create the vector store. And after that, we are going to save a pointer to the retriever. So we are going to use the vector store to retrieve information. So that's the retriever in this part. And the last one, which is the generation part, sorry, we are going to import the create retrieval chain. Create retrieval chain, that does is to take the user input and will be prepared the user input to pass it to the vector store and to retrieve the relevant chunks. And the second part, the create stuff documents chain, that we're going to do there is to pass those chunks, transform those chunks into a prompt and pass it through the LLM to generate the final response. And if you have there the chat prompt template is the system template that is passed every time to the LLM in order to produce the right answer for us. For example, in the system prompt, as you can see there, it says, if you don't know the answer, say that you don't know. So the LLM doesn't have to retrieve information that could be inaccurate. Okay. And last, we have there the question answer chain in the RAG chain, which is the that combines the retriever and the question answer chain that I mentioned before. And in the def main at the end, it says invoke. So we are going to invoke the whole process, the vector search first, and after that the generation of the response, and based on an input that it's there, which it says prompt. Okay, so we are going to take a look at the code. The code is here. As you can see in the line 6, it says PyPDF loader. So we are going to load the clean code book, and we have the question here, which says, do documents are good or bad in code? Okay, so we are going to open the terminal, and I'm going to hit enter. It takes up to 50 seconds to load. Most of the work that is made here by Python, in this case by the interpreter, is to load the document, basically is creating the vector store, because all the other processing will be made by OpenAI in their servers. Okay, we have a response. So um, the first thing that the book says is, don't comment bad code, rewrite it. What else we have? They are not pure good. Indeed, comments are at best a necessary evil. The proper use of comments is to compensate of our failure to express ourselves in code. Well, so according to the book, comments are a unnecessary evil. So if you can avoid using comments, try to rewrite the code. If you find the code so messy, try to refactor it, etc. Okay, so we have the first response from OpenAI. And now we are going to query my course manual here. Course manual. So in this case, I need to take a look at the question. It's here. So what's the purpose of the auto hold system? Okay. Let me check again. Tigo 7 Pro. Okay, so yeah, that will take 1.5 minutes, something like that. So in the meantime, I wanted to show you something here. This is one of the documents that I based my webinar, and the person who wrote it decided to use another vector store. So I'm going to show you the vector store here. It's called Face, okay? And it says, this is a powerful search tool created by Facebook AI. It helps us to find quickly most relevant text parts of a question, okay? So if you're curious about this approach using Python and LangChain, would be great to compare the two vector stores, so you can find make a benchmark between the two. Okay. So okay, Tigo 7 Pro, come here. Yeah, what else? If you want to take a look at the about LangChain, this is LangChain, the official page. There's a lot of really good materials. It's not like a API reference. It's more like a reference, like a guide, so you can read it and understand the different tools that LangChain offers to work with LLMs. Okay, so now we have a response. So it says, the first one says auto hold operation conditions, turning on auto hold function, and activated auto hold function. So it gave me the steps. So it first made a statement about how auto hold is, and then after that it gave me some instructions at the end. So it was expected, it is okay, and as you can see here, well, before this meeting, I spent a total of $1.17. If I update the OpenAI webpage, it says 1.23. So 14 tokens were spent in this using this query. Okay. So coming back to the presentation here. So we have pros and cons. In this case, with Python, you can use several LLMs and compare. You can use Anthropic, Gemini in parallel, and you can compare the responses. The code start at the beginning could be improved. You can rewrite the Python script in order to make several questions. The presentation of the response also could be improved. One thing is, like I said, OpenAI API is paid, so it needs to be considered. And I got the expected response from the both books. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to Belu with the poly.
Yes, let's launch a poly. So you have some time to vote. Okay, everyone is voting. Let's see if you pay attention.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so the question basically is if OpenAI servers are receiving the book completely before or prior to doing the query. That's the question.
Okay, let's finish the poly.
Okay.
Let's see the results. We have 20% yes and 78% no.
Okay. So can I continue?
Yes, of course.
Perfect. So, oh, yeah. So the answer is no. Only relevant chunks of data will be used by OpenAI to build responses. So 78%, I will say it's a very good percentage. So congratulations, everyone. You're paying attention. And well, we are going to pass to the next approach, which is querying PDFs using a local LLM. I decided to use ChatD, which is made in Electron. Well, what we need in this case, the installation and prior requirements in this case is to have Olama up and running on your system. So I'm going to quickly explain to you what is Olama. Olama, it's like a repository for a local repository for open source LLMs. Okay, so you can run in your local Llama 3, DeepSeek, you can run Mistral, right? So I'm going to show you here Olama list. So I have in my computer installed Queen, Llama 3, Mistral, DeepSeek, and you can use them right there in the console. So Olama run, for example, the DeepSeek Air 1, right? And which model are you? Right, so it says I'm DeepSeek. Really intuitive, really easy to install. And it's like a service or a server on your computer. So it's available here. So you can see the little llama on the top. This is the prior requirement in this case. So you need to have Olama up and running. And the rest will be just to, yeah, I'm going to show you the GitHub webpage. It's here, okay? So you can search ChatD. You can download it from here and install. So as an Electron app, it uses the same technologies that we use for the web. It uses JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So I'm going to show you one of the files that ChatD uses for work. And as you can see here, you can set the model there. You can put Mistral there, or you can put DeepSeek R1 if you want. Okay. So what we are going to do in this case is to, let me see. We are going to query the same two books that we queried before, and we are going to ask the same questions to DeepSeek and to Mistral AI. So we are going to start with Mistral. Yeah, okay, only for purposes to compare this approach with the previous one. There is also here a system prompt, as you can see. Okay, so a system prompt, as I mentioned, is a prompt that is sent every time I do a prompt in order to give a context to the LLM. So we have Mistral here. I'm going to open ChatD. Okay, so ChatD is here. Pretty simple. You can open a file there. It says Olam is running. And we are going to ask questions to the clean code book. So do comments are good or bad in code? Yeah, it takes a couple of seconds to load. Do comments are good or bad in code? Here. Okay, so this is Mistral AI. And Mistral AI says that comments can be useful in code when they help clarify complex parts. Like I said, very different compared to the answer that we got first. So I will say that this answer is kind of misleading. So we are going to query this second book using Mistral AI. And we are going to ask this second question. What's the purpose of the auto hold system? It takes a while to load the documents, but it's way faster than in the previous approach with Python. So it gave me a response about the auto hold system. It explains how it works, and also it gives instructions on how to activate. So it gave me the proper response. So now that we try it with Mistral AI, we are going to try with DeepSeek R1. We need to close and open ChatD again. Okay, which model are you? To be sure. It's DeepSeek. Okay. So we are going to open the clean code again, and well, we are going to ask the same question. Do comments are good or bad in code? Okay. It takes a couple of seconds to load the document. Do comments are good or bad in code? It's okay. Okay, so it's thinking, as you can see. And now it gave me the answers. Wow, and it was very um, in detail response. So purpose of comments, benefits, challenges, considerations. In conclusion, it says comments are good when they clarify and maintain understanding, but their effectiveness hangs on their relevance and clarity. Excessively verbose or unnecessary comments can harm readability and maintainability. So I would say that this in this case, uh, it didn't give the quotes of the book compared to the Python approach. So I would say that this question is good, but not good. This answer, sorry, is good, but not good enough as I would expect. So, well, this is chat D. This is chat D. And well, conclusions, pros and cons in this case is you only can use a local LLM. You can't use a remote one. You only can use one document at a time, and that is very restricted because if you have a lot of books of a particular subject, it would be great to ask questions to all those books. Okay, so using Mistral AI, Clean Code gave us a misleading response. Tigo Manual gave us an expected response. I needed to put the other book in the DeepSeek. Yeah, forgot it. So for Tigo 7 Pro, let me search here. For Tigo 7 Pro, yeah, I forgot my manual scar. Okay, a couple of seconds more. Okay, so what's the purpose of the auto hold system? So it's thinking. And it gave me an answer. So this system also release automatically when driving conditions allow to save release. Perfect. Okay, I got an answer. I would say that I would prefer a more in detail answer, but it was a pretty good answer. So I have a expected response in the Tigo manual, and I have I would say like a not good enough response for the clean code book in case of DeepSeek. So the last one, we are going to query PDFs using a notebook LM that uses Google Gemini behind the scenes. Okay. Well, in this case, I will say that no local installations are required. It's a web UI based. So no code required, no code will be required to query documents. In this case, NotebookLM uses Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro, and I will say that it's like the styled model to be used for query documents. And a cool thing about NotebookLM, it transforms documents into podcasts, like two persons talking each other in a audio files. Okay, so let's go. Let's jump to Notebook LM, which is here. The web UI is pretty simple. First, you have the sources, so you can ask questions to several books. You have the chat in the middle, and here, and only for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to show you this thing. If you want to try, you can go to NotebookLM at home, try to upload a book, and try to generate the audio of the book. It's very interesting. So here you have the audio overview. It says to hosts is English only. Sorry for those who speak Spanish or Portuguese. You can generate the audio right there. So here we are going to query this book and the clean code. Well, in this case, the books take a while to upload because it needs to be uploaded first, and then it has to be processed and to transform into chunks by Google Gemini, um, by the NotebookLM platform. So it takes a while to upload documents here. Well, we're going to ask the first question in this case. Do comments are good or bad in code? Okay. The good thing about NotebookLM is it gives you the quick shortcuts to the chunks of text that it's querying. Okay, so we have good comments for legal comments, explanation of intent. We have a section for bad comments. We have a key takeaway here. So the source emphasizes that clear and expressive code with few comments is far superior. The proper use of comments is to compensate the failure to express ourselves in code. It is the same response that we got from the Python approach. Okay, so I would say this response is really interesting. It's very extensive, and I will say it's way better than we got from OpenAI. So we are going to ask the question to the other book. I'm going to copy and paste the prompt here. So what's the purpose of the auto hold system? And explains a little how it works. And it gives the instructions one by one, and with the shortcuts, like I said. So really interesting, really easy to use. No code is necessary for querying for querying documents. And well, that's it. That's NotebookLM. Really, really easy to to show you and present. Well, we got in this case a full explanatory response from both books. Like I said, NotebookLM is an experiment from Google. And what I mean by an experiment, that Google could shut down it entirely or keep it. So yeah, and the other thing is that will depends on the current demand. So maybe if a lot of people are using NotebookLM, currently NotebookLM is free. So if a lot of people decided to use NotebookLM, it could be problematic to you in case if you want to work with it and to get answers in a proper time. Okay. So well, I'm going to hand over to Bello.
Thanks, Mati. We have a question from Luis, and I encourage others to ask your questions through the chat if you have any. The question is, with increasing number of context windows in models such as new Gemini 2.5 Pro, with a 2 billion parameter context window, do you think that in the future the use of RAG will be outdated?
I don't think. I think RAG could be used in specific cases. For example, if you're in your company, there are documents that are stored that contains really sensitive information. The use of a local LLM using a RAG to query those documents could be still relevant in the near future, because those documents are really important for the company and cannot be released to the public.
Great. Thanks, Mati, for your answer. We have another question from Nico Ayala. What do you choose for day-to-day use? OpenAI, local, or NotebookLM?
I would prefer a NotebookLM because when I was practicing for this webinar, NotebookLM was the one who gave me a really like in-depth response and in detail. So in my case, my preference is NotebookLM.
Right, thanks. I don't know if we have more questions. For now, we don't. So maybe we can move forward to the next slide, Mati. If you
Yeah.
have any question, don't be shy. Just put it in the chat and we will read them.
Yeah, we have the link that I showed you before. If you want to take a look at the LangChain approach, there is the link. Also, I put in the presentation the GitHub page, the Olama library. I really encourage yourself, if you have a computer with GPUs available to use, you can try the different LLMs using Olama and try on your local. Well, I would recommend to you, if you want to download those LLMs to your computer, to use a VPN connected to the US, because the downloads will be way faster.
Great. So I think we can wrap up today's session. Oh, we have another question.
Yeah, obviously.
From Vitor. I am a data science with. Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened with my. Okay, I'm here right now.
Okay.
I am a data science with 7 years of experience, but never worked with LLMs so far. Do you recommend any tutorial or cash course to start in the field?
Yeah, I would say that you should take a look at prompt engineering in Udemy or other platforms like like Udemy, and to study prompt engineering, because those answers that we get, the answers that I received, that I gave here in this presentation, will be really improved if my prompt will be more verbose or more accurate, right? So that's the thing. If you want to start with LLMs, is to learn the prompt engineering. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Mati. We have another question from Luis. Which version of DeepSeek R1 did you test locally, and how much RAM do you have?
How much? I didn't understand the last part.
Oh, it's BRAM. I don't know what it's the meaning.
I can take a look here. I just downloaded this one, 1.5B, I think. No. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a look at the question, and I'm going to chat with you later. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Maddie. Yeah, I think we don't have more questions. So thanks one more time for joining today. And thanks, Mati, for sharing your knowledge and guiding us through these amazing tools. I hope you all find it useful, that you're excited to explore new ways to interact with your documents. If you want to revisit the content of this webinar, we will be sharing the recording on our social media soon. So stay tuned. Yeah, thanks again for being here, and I hope to see you in the next Beyond webinar. See ya.